Title 42, excuse me, sorry, it's allergies.
It's
so-
okay, we understand.
Good.
We understand.
We've been reporting that the administration is projecting a big budget shortfall for ICE and CBP should Title 42 be lifted. Is there a plan for how to get additional funding that's going to be needed to handle immigrants coming into the country? If that Title 42 is lifted, will you need funds for Congress? Can you divert funds from somewhere else? What's the thinking?
So what DHS said last month is that they expect the current funding levels will not be sufficient to meet operational needs, but they have a number of options available to secure the resources required to implement our comprehensive strategy. This includes reprioritizing and reallocating existing funds, requesting additional support from other federal agencies if necessary, engaging with Congress on that discussion. And I would note that as a part of this, as we prepare for the implementation of the end of Title 42, there are a range of steps that we've been taking to prepare for that, including surging resources, deploying resources to address increased volumes. That includes moving officers, agents, DHS volunteer force, personnel to rapidly decompress points along the border and more efficiently process migrants. It also entails the deployment of COVID-19 mitigation efforts, including the continued use of PPE, providing the COVID-19 vaccines. It also includes expanding these efforts to cover migrants in CBP custody. So point is, there are a range of steps in this comprehensive plan that I know Secretary Mayorkas is testifying today on the Hill, and I'm sure he'll be testifying more in the future. But what they said at the time when we announced this was that we expect current funding levels would not be sufficient. There are a range of ways to address that, and we're working on exactly that.
And if, because we're just about a month away from this being lifted, if the administration doesn't feel like that plan is in place yet, would that be a reason to delay lifting Title 42?
Well, we've proposed a plan. So that's a plan that is being implemented. In terms of any ideas to address immigration, including any delay of Title 42, that would require congressional action. So go ahead.
More than 3,000 Ukrainians were processed along the southern border, people who had flown to Mexico to try to get into the U.S. That's a big leap over February. That number is expected to increase. Does the administration have any plans to announce a program that would make it easier for Ukrainians who already have family ties in the U.S. to be expedited into the U.S.?
We are working. So we've obviously announced, the president has announced plans to accept 100,000 Ukrainians into the United States if they want to come, of course. We're working to finalize the details of that. Of course, right now, we are still, as you all know, as we've been talking about, implementing Title 42, no matter what country you are coming from, whether it's Ukraine or any other country in the world.
Sure, but is there anything immediately in the works for a program similar to that to be
Well, no, the president announced a few weeks ago plans to welcome 100,000 Ukrainians, right? So it's just the details of how that program will work. I understand why you're asking. We just don't have the final details yet. But